வெல்கம் டு ஆண்ட்ரகான். பேரவை நேயர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். ஒரு நீண்ட இடைவெளிக்கு பிறகு மீண்டும் நாம் இன்றைக்கு ஒரு ஆங்கில நேர்காணலுக்காக இணைந்திருக்கிறோம். தேசிய அளவில் அறியப்பட்ட செயற்பாட்டாளர், பத்திரிகையாளர் தீஸ்தா செதல்வாத் நம்மோடு இணைந்திருக்கிறார். அவரோடு தான் நாம் இன்றைக்கு உரையாடவிருக்கிறோம். மகாராஷ்டிராவில் நடந்திருக்கக்கூடிய பத்திரிகையாளர்கள் மீதான தாக்குதல், நாடு முழுக்க நடந்து கொண்டிருக்கும் இந்த தாக்குதல் சம்பவங்கள் குறித்து நம்மோடு உரையாடுவதற்காக இணைந்திருக்கிறார். அவரோடு பேசலாம். மேம், we welcome you to the Tamil YouTube forum. I think this is the first interview that you are giving online to a Tamil independent media forum, and we are happy to. Yes, ma'am. We are very happy to host you.
Very happy to speak to Tamil Nadu. That is the kind of heralds a very progressive thought in this country. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. And we have seen in the news that Mr. Nikhil Wagle, a well-known journalist in India, who is working in Maharashtra, when he was going to a meeting, he was attacked by the goons. Allegedly, they were BJP persons, and he was continuously attacked while he is traveling. His car was completely damaged. Even after that, he managed to go to the event that he planned, and he conveyed the speech. The issue that the mainstream media are mentioning is that he made derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Modi and Bharat Ratna lkadvani ji. He made offensive remarks against Advani and Modi. These are the headlines that we can see. What are the remarks that Nikhil Wagle made? What is the incident that will happen?
See, I'll just start with the incident first, okay? And I'll start a little bit about I'll come to the remarks also. I'll talk about the organization that Nikhil Wagle, Vishwambar Chowdhury, and Asim Sirode had revived for the last 1.5 years all over Maharashtra, because I think that your viewer is called Nirbhay Bano Andolan. It's called a Be Fearless movement, Shed Your Fear, a Shed Your Fear movement. And this actually harks back to 92-93, when our entire movement from journalism to activism took place, when Bombay burned after the demolition of the Babri Masjid, and there were violent riots which were anti-minority riots, and that time there was an atmosphere of complete fear in the city, and that fear was unfortunately created that time by the rule, and they were not ruling then, but the violence was generated by the Shiv Sena, and that time Nikhil and others had created the Nirbhay Bano Andolan and the Dehshat Virodhi Andolan, the movement against terror. And we used to go together. I used to go with them also to many bastis all over Bombay, many tenement areas where there was a sense of fear and targeting, and ask people to be fearless and to stand up for the right thing. So this has been revived last year because in the view of Mr. Wagle and his associates, they feel that there's an atmosphere of fascism in the country. There's impending fascism, and they should tell people to come out and vote and to speak up as citizens. So that is the background, okay? Now this meeting was called in Pune. Pune is an interesting city. Pune is a city of Jyotiba Phule, Savitribai Phule, and it is also, the first attack in Pune took place against Acharya Atri, who was a very renowned writer and journalist, in 1942. And he was also opposing the Sangh, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. It is also now a god of the Sangh. So the point is, there's always this battle between progressive and regressive ideas in the city of Pune. So anyway, the attack took place, and I just want to flag to your viewers that it was a murderous attack. The point is, people are underplaying the complete intent behind the attack. This was nothing short of an attempt to kill him, attempt to murder him, because the crowd was saying, when they used hockey sticks, iron rods, very, very strong implements to break the car glass, and they succeeded in breaking the car glass at the back. Fortunately, the glass didn't break completely, but they wanted to smash their heads, okay? Now, the point is, the police all over the country and also in Maharashtra, at the drop of a hat, charges people with attempt to murder. But they put an FIR against, because of a lot of public pressure, because the editors did yesterday, there was a lot of condemnation, many other journalist organizations condemned the attack. So they have put an FIR against these BJP workers, and it's not alleged BJP. I think it's very clearly a BJP workers, and some Ajay Dada Pawar mafia also apparently from Pune joined in to attack him, and they put sections like 147, 148, 149, 336 and 427, which are relatively harmless sections. And our demand is that 307 should be applied, and we have to see also whether the claim of the arrest is true, etc. So, firstly, I want to say that the meeting was inside a hall. There is free speech in the country. We are supposed to be the world's largest democracy. Why can't people hold a meeting which opposes the current regime? That is question number one. Secondly, a letter had been given to the police, so there was complete intimation to the police. This story that the police is spreading that it was there was no permission is wrong. There is no need for permission inside a hall meeting. Secondly, about the remarks. Now, the tweet that Mr. Wagle put out the day that Mr. Advani was given the Bharat Ratna, and I want to just hark back to the Justice Sri Krishna Commission report that came out in 1998. The Justice Sri Krishna Commission report was set up by the Maharashtra government to look at the violence that broke out after the demolition of the Babri Masjid and the bomb blast. And he said it was the violence that was let out by Advani's Rath Yatra that led to rioting and tensions across the country and also in Bombay. That time it was Bombay, not Mumbai. So this is well known that Advani's Rath Yatra in the 80s and 90s, late 80s and 90s, early 1990s caused violence in its wake. All of us have written about it, that witnessed that time. So basically he said is that this award is being given by one person who encouraged riots to another person. And he was obviously referring to the Prime Minister 2002, and he was referring to Advani. Now, we may not like that. As admirers of Modi, anybody, you and I may not like that. But the point is, look at the language that the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the Finance Minister use against other political leaders, use against the first Prime Minister of the country, Jawaharlal Nehru. It is near abusive. So is it that the only right to use strong language, and this is not abusive, what Mr. Wagle said was not abusive, it was his opinion, right or wrong. And the point is that history bears it out. The point is, only the BJP, the majoritarian BJP, the supremacist BJP has a right to use foul language and strong language when they talk about the opposition. You mean citizens cannot criticize a person who is elected by the people? I mean, this is like a very, very sad situation. I also appeal to my friends in the media, including newspapers, that they should ask which are the sections that are being put against the assaulters. And when the city unit chief of the BJP, one Mr. Dheeraj, somebody, I'll tell you his full name, actually tweets after the incident yesterday and says that, we do what we say. They're claiming proudly that they've done it. So the BJP is claiming that they were responsible for it. Now the point is, this does not bode well for law and order, it does not bode well for freedom of expression, it does not bode well for press freedom, it does not bode well for constitutional values. And there's a deteriorating law and order situation in Maharashtra. If the Maharashtra police, and that's the other point I want to make, is that Mr. Wagle and his associates who are going to address the meeting were detained for 4 hours at Advocate Asim Sirode's house before the meeting. Okay, the meeting was scheduled for a certain time. They left for it earlier, and the police just refused to let them go. It was like a house arrest. So that means the police did not want the meeting to take place. They were under pressure not to allow them to go to the meeting because it was in Pune. Finally, he got restless and he said, I'm going. And he decided to go. He stepped out. Then 40 special branch people get out his car. These were ununiformed officers in civil uniform. And the rest of the police officers, the senior PI of the police station, etc., refused to let his car move. He said, I'm going to then walk. He got out of the car and he said, I'm starting to walk. Imagine the scenario. 40 get out in your car. He said, I'm going to walk. When he insisted on that he was going to walk, and even his supporters, the supporters of Mr. Wagle and Nirbhay Bano were also there, because they also got to know that this detention had taken place, this house arrest had taken place. That's when the police said, okay, we'll let you go. And then instead of protecting the car from the front, they kept the police car at the back. And in that half an hour journey, before they reached the hall, there were 4 attacks. Please understand that the police is supposedly protecting Mr. Wagle. The police is supposedly, were they in touch with the BJP people that they're taking him down a route where exactly where the route is happening, their attack is happening. There were 4 attacks, and all of them were very, very brutal. And finally the attack came, which broke the glass and everything like that. And the police had obviously also informed the media, because the media arrived. So the videos, I mean, that is a good thing actually, because we believe in free press, we believe in freedom of expression, and actually the videos that came out only because of that triumphalism of the BJP that wanted to show how they can attack Mr. Wagle. So this kind of nexus between the police authorities in Maharashtra, which is a relatively competent police force by and large, relatively speaking, is very, very worrying for the citizen, because it means there's a complete collusion between the police force and the ruling BJP. And that doesn't bode well for the rule of law. I'm sorry my answer took so long.
No, ma'am, you have clearly explained what has happened. I can't even imagine putting myself in that car. I can't even imagine that situation. It's so much of threat, so much of hate, and so much of murderous activities is happening. But not just in Mumbai, everywhere, wherever the journalists are making their opinions, wherever the activists are making their opinions, wherever they want to educate the people, whenever we want to create an awareness to the people, there is an attack. From Gauri Lankesh to Dabolkar to everyone. Whenever we speak the truth, we are being attacked. Advani was a rioter. It was a fact. It's well known. He called the Karseva. He called the Radayatra. Called the Hindus to demolish the Babri Masjid, and we are well aware of that, and we know that it is a fact. But when Nikhil Wagle was saying that fact, they got aroused and they are getting into the attack. Means what is this the rule of law? Is this the new normal that we are going to face after 2024? How we are going to face that?
No, it's absolutely the new normal. And that is what I think we need to be very aware about and agitate about and come together about. I want to just point out that it was BJP Pune City President Dheeraj Ghate who said, "हम जो बोलते हैं वो करते हैं." Means whatever we do, whatever we say, we do. Okay, and then he goes on to talk about how he's Nikhil Wagle made that statement only for publicity, and our PM is a godlike person. Now this is very dangerous for democracy. Nobody is godlike in this country. I mean, if we can have critical writing and very disgusting writing against Gandhi, who's the father of the nation by the Sangh, who dislike him completely, though they actually put him on a pedestal, but they dislike him because of what he stood for. I mean, the kind of abuse that the Sangh, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, unleashes on its political opponents is unbelievable. In fact, I think that the base of this, according to me, is a tussle between those like Ambedkar, Phule, Periyar, Savitribai Phule, Sahu Maharaj, and those values that collectively gave us the Constitution, because it was the fights that these great leaders, men and women, led, that led to that egalitarian principle in the Constitution. If that Constitution had been written by privileged sections, urban privileged section, we would not have had an emancipatory Constitution. I'm very clear about that. It was because it was Ambedkar, Baba Sahib Ambedkar. It was because he was influenced by Ravi Maharaj, Chokhamela, the rich tradition of the Shraman versus the Brahman that actually has always contested hierarchy, always contested discrimination and exclusion, caste exclusion. Now, according to me, that is at the core of this. So we have to understand that Baba Sahib Ambedkar, they will give all sorts of, they'll put his photograph up. And when I say they, I'm talking about the RSS-ruled government. Because this government is nothing short of ruled by RSS. And all their pracharaks, including the Prime Minister, they do not like the scathing criticism of Hinduism and caste that Baba Sahib Ambedkar indulged in. And that's the question here. That which India is going to win? Are we going to go back to a time where caste exclusion, caste discrimination, absence of freedom of speech, absence of the Bahujan sections to speak truth to power is going to be taken away brutally like this? That is the question.
Okay. But what they are doing is that they are doing post-truth, and they are spreading the post-truth matters. Whenever OBC issue raises, Modi claims that I am the biggest OBC standing here. Whenever poverty issue raises, I am the biggest son of the poor mother standing here. Whenever an SC/ST issue is being raised, we are the one who stood for the SC and ST. We made SC as a president. We made ST as a president. And whenever a minority issue is being raised, they are they will say we want uniform civil code, and uniform civil code is happening in Uttarakhand just a day after uniform civil be state against the constitution. The demolition of masjid is happening, attack on Muslims are happening, and everything is happening in sunlight. Everything is happening in the morning. Everything is happening in front of our naked eyes. But the sections of the society, even the younger population, the first generation voters, are being lulled by the BJP's think that we are the one who made Indian democracy flourish. We are the one who made the Indian economy flourish. And how we are going to tackle that, the bigger picture that we are going to address. What do you think about that?
I don't have an answer to all these questions, okay? But we have to keep fighting our battles. I'm only saying this. When your question comes about who claims he is subaltern, who claims he's a caste thing, eventually the people of India have to decide. But let's not forget one thing, that the number of vacancies in the central government and in the BJP-ruled state governments for Dalits and OBCs in the government jobs, it's been tabled in parliament that they don't want to fill these vacancies because they do not want that section to get empowered by representation in government jobs, number one. Number two, which is the government that cut the, remember the agitation in the Hyderabad Central University, JNU and other universities? It was all about, apart from the obvious thing, it was also about the junior scholarships, the senior scholarships that were given to ensure diversity and affirmative rights for certain sections in the best university. All that has gone. So I think the power of propaganda, I think you have to understand that this government is only sitting there because of the power of money and propaganda. They have played a vicious game on the people of this country. The day they came to power, they have actually started manipulating the electronic media, which is owned by corporates. They put a lot of pressure on the traditional legacy media, which is the newspapers. And now we are seeing that they want to crack down on channels like yours with things like the digital broadcasting bill, etc. They do not want any questioning. They do not want any of their policies to question. So by controlling the media, today, I don't know if you watch the Hindi media channels, it's shocking the way the news hour is used to stigmatize and demonize India's minorities. That's all that the electronic media is doing. It is performing its role as a propaganda arm of this government. I'm talking about Hindi television mainstream channels. Look at a man like Sudhir Chaudhary, what he said about the Jharkhand CM, what he has said about Madarsa Jihad, Corona Jihad. I mean, it is disgusting, those terms that they have coined. It is nothing short of a way to develop an atmosphere that there will be hate propagated against India's minority. So it is the power of propaganda that is keeping them in power. Money power and the power of propaganda. The point is, there's a challenge for the opposition, political opposition, and those in the citizenship, in the citizenry, civil society, whatever you call them, who want to challenge this kind of proto-fascist politics. How do we do it when there is this power of money and propaganda? I think the only way we can do it is have a cross-language collaboration in independent media, the way we can ally with each other on different causes, and we need to keep at the battle, which is not just an electoral battle. You're not a democracy because you hold quote-unquote successful elections. How can the elections be successful when electoral bonds are not transparent, when only one party is getting money? Okay, when there's a question about whether EVMs are fair or not, when there's a question about, I mean, look at what happened in the Chandigarh polls, it's a joke. Even the Supreme Court was compelled to say that this is a murder of democracy. When you found a returning officer actually fabricating the votes to say that they are disqualified. Now, this can happen all over the country. If you put RSS men or women or people who are under pressure from you as returning officers, as police officers, if that kind of ideology infiltrates institutions of governance, then there'll be a mockery of democracy, mockery of constitutional democracy, and that is what we are seeing now. It's a mockery of constitutional democracy. And unfortunately, they have whipped up a kind of a blind supporters, what we in Hindi call andabak, who are willing to pick up hockey sticks and beat the likes of Mr. Nikhil Wagle, who, by the way, is a senior journalist, a free thinker, and also somebody who's been attacked 7 times in his life. And he's saying that this was the most serious attack, it is the most murderous attack.
They put RSS ideology everywhere, within the police department, within the election commission. Even they are now empowered to put their RSS ideology into the chief election commissioner of this nation. They are empowered to put RSS and Sangh Parivar ideology everywhere. And with that, they are marking the democracy, and they are creating proxies of RSS with this government of India and the state of India. They are doing this. We have to stand this fight. Even after what happened to Gauri, even after what happened to Dabolkar, even after what is happening to Siddiq Khan, and what is happening to Teesta, what is happening to Nikhil Wagle, what is happening to Zubair, we are standing this fight. And we, as journalists, as activists around this nation, if we are going to be a single collective, if we are going to stand as solidarity, stand for a solidarity in this issue, and whatever issue that is against the journalists or the free speech, uh, we can do something, and we can educate the people. And this is what we will be doing forever, forever, forever. And thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you
I
very, very
think
much. I'm so glad that you took the time off to discuss this very important issue.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We are always happy to host you, and we will be doing interviews frequently, at least one interview per month, to share your knowledge with our audience. Thank you for
Sure.
that, ma'am. Thank
It'll be
you.
a
Thanks a
pleasure.
lot.
It'll be a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.